Good afternoon, it's 4 o'clock. Welcome to the Harlan Municipal Utilities Board of Trustees meeting. Today is Thursday, March 26, 2026. Can I get a call a meeting to order?
Motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Davis, aye.
Lukey, aye.
Michelle, aye.
And Michelle, before you go further, we do have two people online also, Jenny Sherrick and Mindy Wells.
Okay. Approval of the agenda, conflict of interest. Can I get a roll?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Davis, aye.
Lukey, aye.
Michelle, aye.
You guys forgot what to do at a board meeting?
Well, nerve-wracking today. Approval of consent agenda. All items listed under the consent agenda will be enacted by one motion with a roll call vote. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a request is made prior to the time the board votes on the motion. Consent agenda items may include non-controversial subjects.
Move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Roll call.
Davis, aye.
Lukey, aye.
Michelle, aye. Number 4, Resolution 105-2026, revised to discontinue community water fluoridation. A, 15 minutes to hear those in favor, so that's 15 minutes total, not 15 minutes each. And 15 minutes to hear those not in favor of discontinuing fluoridation.
Do we have anybody here that's in favor of discontinuing it? Do you guys wanna go up to the podium and talk, or?
I don't have anything prepared. I can just tell you that I have 3 sons with autism, and so I've done a lot of research on neurotoxins and found out right away that fluoride is a neurotoxin. And if you drink it, if you consume it, if you cook with it, if you bathe in it, if you water your vegetables in it, it's going directly into your system. And if you read anything about toothpaste in the warnings and mouthwash in the warnings and fluoride treatments in the warnings, you are not supposed to ingest it. So if you want to apply fluoride to your teeth, you have many options to do so. I do not want to be forced to have fluoride in my water. So I'm doing everything in my power to distill my water and filter my water so that my family is not ingesting it through every which way. So that's my 2 cents worth. I watched a lot of documentaries on fluoride, so I know what I'm talking about, but
Okay, those not in favor of discontinuing the fluoride? You guys wanna talk?
I think on the Zoom, we'll probably be
Yeah, Mayor,
Yeah.
Mindy, is that?
Mhm.
Mindy, would you like to, speak on the subject?
Sure.
Can you guys
Well,
hear?
thanks everybody for having the discussion. So I am a oral health consultant. Oh, first of all, can you guys hear me okay?
Can everybody hear her fine? Okay, yep, they said they can.
Okay, sorry. So I am an oral health consultant and a community water fluoridation coordinator for Iowa HHS. My role with that is kind of support communities with questions with water fluoridation. I help monitor data. So you guys are sending water reports. So myself, along with the DNR, along with the EPA, along with your water operators, are very closely monitoring water fluoridation for safety to make sure that everybody's levels are safe. So I guess when I start talking with fluoride with people, I try to take a step backwards to where it began. A dog barking after work hours. So back before, there's a garbage truck in my house and my dog's losing his mind. I'm so sorry. In the 1960s, nearly 50% of adults aged 65 and over had already lost all of their teeth. Most of them were wearing dentures, and most adolescents had actually already lost a permanent tooth, not a baby tooth, not a wisdom tooth, a permanent tooth that they would need for chewing. So in about 1962, the U.S. Public Health Service started recommending community water fluoridation. They noticed that communities that had fluoride naturally occurring in their water, tooth decay was lower. Some of them had higher amounts of fluoride, so that's when you started seeing that dental fluorosis, but they didn't have tooth decay. So they started investigating this and looking into it and said, well, gosh, we see a correlation here. So that's when they started introducing community water fluoridation. So one key thing to understand here is that community water fluoridation is the practice of adding fluoride into your water, which is something that you guys are doing because you use RO, which removes pretty much everything else from the water. Before your RO process, it sounds like you had a pretty low fluoride level to start with. So you guys are adding just a little bit of fluoride to bring that fluoride up to a beneficial level. Now, I know that there are concerns about the whole that it has been classified as a neurotoxin and everything. One thing that the NTP has not covered is the fact that their report was not looking at community fluoridation. Community water fluoridation is the practice of adding fluoride into water. NTP was looking at areas that had very high naturally occurring flora. Your practice in Harlan is not looking at high natural fluoride levels. It is looking at optimal levels. Optimal levels would be 0.7 milligrams per liter. There's kind of a range, that 0.6 to 1.0. Last year, you guys averaged 0.63, which is still really, quite frankly, ideal. And that is thanks to your water operators doing a good job. So once again, fluoride is really closely monitored for safety standards. So it's just good to know that if you guys no longer continue to add fluoride into your water, no one in your community is going to get those benefits. Communities with fluoridated water see on average a 25% reduction in tooth decay, and that's in both adults and in children. School-aged children in communities with community water fluoridation have on average 2 fewer decayed teeth than children in communities that do not have water fluoridation. So again, highly beneficial, and it's benefiting everyone within your community. So this isn't just a decision to make for yourself or your families. This is a decision to make for the whole community. So again, it's just an important thing to just to really dive into. The amount of fluoride being added is very small. It's equivalent to 3 drops of water in a 55-gallon barrel. I sent a lot of resources, some letters of support ahead of this meeting. If you guys have any additional questions as you navigate this discussion, please ask. I'm more than happy to talk through this.
There's another individual on the phone that would like to talk. Do you guys have any questions for Mindy before? Okay, Jenny, can you identify who you're with? If you're with an organization?
Certainly. My name is Jenny Sherrick. I'm the Director of Public Health Services at Firefly. We provide preventative oral health screenings in school and community-based locations through the iSmile and iSmile School programs. So I oversee all of our public health programming for women and children. There is a coordinator that specifically oversees the iSmile programming. Unfortunately, she was sick, and so I am here today to, be her replacement. And so just wanted to talk about what we're actually seeing when we are doing community-based screenings. iSmile at School predominantly does do screenings in locations that have 40% or greater free and reduced lunch. So while not a one-to-one comparison, we're sort of generally looking at children who are experiencing poverty. And the rest of the iSmile programming, while can be provided to anybody, generally we see lower income individuals through experiences at WIC clinics and community events and otherwise. So generally we're talking about low income pregnant women and children that we are seeing and that we are screening. Firefly serves 8 counties in western Iowa, Shelby County included. In the entire 8 counties that we see, there is between 18 to 24% decay rate, depending on which year we're talking about, so it's a range generally. Shelby County does have a lower rate typically, so 9 to 16%. However, it is increasing year after year. And so that is of concern to us, that while water fluoridation really does help prevent decay, we are seeing still an increase in decay in the children who are still experiencing the water fluoridation. So what happens if we remove the water from the fluoride? Specifically, Harlan schools, decay rate went up from 13% last school year to 16% this school year, which still is maybe a little bit lower than our general decay rate for all of the schools we're seeing, but again, follows the path with increasing decay. And we are able to do some preventative measures like sealants and otherwise, but those are very targeted individual interventions that are not available to the general community and used as a public health benefit for all, which is why the community water fluoridation is so important and such a sort of public health achievement of the last century, and also very cheap, admittedly. And dental care is extremely hard to come by. For low-income individuals in Shelby County, there's only one dental provider that accepts any patients on Medicaid, and they do not accept any new patients on Medicaid. In the other 8 counties that we serve, there's only one other provider that accepts new patients on Medicaid. It is an Omaha-based provider that comes to Council Bluffs 1 to 2 days per month to provide services. And so that's not really like a provider that is able to see additional children. You could drive to their office. It's in West Omaha. And then I also have an office in Elkhorn. So again, there's a lot of transportation barriers and challenges. And children on Medicaid, year after year, only about 50% of the children who are on Medicaid, which is 50% of children, are actually able to be seen by the iSmile program or by a dentist of any kind. So 50% of, well, I guess a quarter of all children in the county are not being seen by a dental provider, have increasing decay rates, and have nowhere to go if they do have decay, if they need treatment or sort of ongoing preventative care. So this cheap, easy, readily approved and studied intervention to help support the whole community's oral health is really important, as we especially think about those tiny humans and pregnant women who are growing the next generation, and ensuring that they are as healthy as they can be, so that the babies can be as healthy as they can be, and the children are able to learn, talk, grow, smile, have strong mental health as well, because our smile really does affect our whole health. Thank you all for your time.
I have a question for Mindy. Mindy, the EPA lawsuit that came out, I'm sorry, I'm Donald Cody. I'm the water superintendent for Harlan Municipal Utilities. And 2024, U.S. District Judge Edward 10 ordered the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency to take regulatory action to eliminate the unreasonable risk water fluoridation presents. And that was based off that plaintiffs have proven by a preponderance of evidence that water fluoridation at the level of 0.7 milligrams per liter, prescribed optimal dose for the United States, presents an unreasonable risk of injury or health or the environment without consideration of cost or non-risk factors, including any unreasonable risk to a potentially exposed or susceptible subpopulation under the conditions of use. Can you answer what your thoughts are on that and why that was issued?
Yes, so there was a lawsuit in California that led to that ruling. So that ruling does not mean that the EPA is saying, nope, we have to get rid of this.
Nope.
That ruling is saying that the EPA needs to reevaluate what our maximum contaminant levels are. And we know that if you consume a high level of fluoride, it is not good for you. No one is asking anyone to do that. So it's asking the EPA to reevaluate that 4.0 as the maximum contaminant level and the 2.5 as a secondary one. And they are doing that. I will also share that if you kind of look at more of a picked apart version of the NTP report, the research that they use, I do not have the information in front of me right now. The amount there was a certain percentage of the research studies that they use, and the percentage that had bias was actually quite alarming. And so no one's really talking about the amount of bias that went into those conclusions. Additionally, in that NTP report, they did very specifically say the NTP was not intended to be a review of community water fluoridation in the United States. They were looking at other countries that did not use the same community water fluoridation practices and regulations that the United States is using. So yes, the EPA is reviewing those contaminant levels because we do want to continually make sure that what we are putting into our water is safe. It is a good thing that people are continuing to ask questions and that agencies are continuing to study and review fluoride because we want to always make sure that our levels are safe. What we do know is that the level that Harlan Municipal utilities are using in their water is very safe and there's no harmful effects, only beneficial health effects with that level.
Thank you. Anybody have anything else?
Can I get a, no one, can I get a motion?
So I guess maybe where do we provide input? Because I'm not sure what the motion is and if we hear the trustees' perspective might be helpful. I was not at the January meeting where this passed, so I'm maybe coming at it from a bit disadvantaged, I suppose. It may be better to have dialogue between us and then have a motion. That's a thought.
Yeah.
So,
I was at the meeting,
okay, go ahead.
and to be honest with you, I didn't have a lot of research on it.
Yep.
Since then, I've done a little research, and I think we might have acted a little too quickly.
Okay.
But on the other hand, there's good things going on both sides. So it's kind of, I don't know, it's do we do it or do we not, you know? I don't know what to tell you. It's kind of a catch-22. I'm torn between both ways, and I don't know which way to go, to be honest with you.
Well, I guess, first of all, great community input into the discussion, right? We've gotten letters, we've got people here tonight. I think that's fantastic. That's what our democracy should be doing. And so I applaud people that have provided their input, right? I guess as I've reviewed this, each side has points that they point to say, no, we should not have it, or yes, we should, right? But when I look at the science behind this, I'm an engineer, so I'm a little bit more maybe lean to follow the science. Whether it's the World Health Organization, CDC, Shelby County Health, and then reading through those articles, my view is I think we're a bit too early in sort of the overall research of it's a bad thing, yet we have all this research that says it's prevented cavities and continues to do that, particularly for 25% of our folks that don't go to see a regular dentist. So I'm coming down on the side is I don't think it should be stopped, and I think it should be continued to have fluoride. So that's sort of my sort of perspective as I've read through this and noodled on it and thought through sort of it. Now, everybody's got an opinion, and I respect that, and that's great, right?
Do any of you people have something you want to say?
They were in the group for the 15 minutes.
Oh, they were, okay. Okay.
All right.
So I guess,
I agree with you that, Kevin, because I'm thinking of the overall perspective of the children and the ones that don't have access to dental. I mean, they already said that there's no new patients for Medicaid here in Shelby County. And if they can't afford to go to the dentist, they're not gonna be able to afford to go to Omaha to go to the dentist to find a Medicaid, dental. I was involved in it 4 years ago, was it?
Yes.
This was 4 years ago, and we had other speakers here besides the two that were on the phone today. And they all said that it's such a low dose that's going in the system. So I'm gonna vote to keep it in.
Okay, so we have an existing resolution that says it's gonna be stopped.
And what was in front of you here too then, Kevin, was a revised or an amendment to that resolution, just basically changing the discontinuation date. You know, initially we were gonna discontinue June 1st, and then we had some issues with getting
Right.
customer notices out through the HMU newsletter, so the due date was gonna be June 20th. That's basically what our amendment is for, correct?
Correct.
Yep.
So if you
So-
want to, if you are wanting to motion to not discontinue it, then I would make that motion, but also rescind the original resolution.
That was made in December.
That was
January.
the original resolution 105/2026.
Okay.
So you would vote nay on this one and include in your motion.
Okay, so I'll try wording this and then you correct me, Jenny.
I
And
don't
we'll
know
see
the
if
right way because I didn't know anybody was gonna go against it or else I would have had a separate agenda item.
So, I'd like to make a resolution to rescind the resolution approved in January to stop fluoridization. And I would like to continue fluoridization of the water in Harlan.
Yep.
I can make that work.
Is that, okay? So I made the motion, so it's up to Al to say yes or no, or you yes or no, to get to.
Can I approve the motion?
Second.
I can second. I'll second that motion.
Okay,
Roll,
And roll call, yeah.
roll call.
Yeah, 'cause
Lukey, aye.
Michelle, aye.
So fluoride will stay in the water, correct? So I can write
That's-
that correctly.
for now.
For now.
And we just need a majority present, not a super majority, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay, number 5, resolution number 106-2026, a
If you
resolution.
guys all wanna go, you
Yeah.
can. Although it's gonna be maybe a long meeting, so you sure can stay, but we don't wanna keep you up.
Popcorn.
You sure can.
Well, you can, that's what it's there for.
Thank you for letting us be here.
Thank you all for having us.
Number 5, resolution number 106-2026, a resolution authorizing the purchase of natural gas from PIFA Inc., approving the execution and delivery of a gas supply agreement and other documents related to said purchase, approving the insurance of bonds by PIFA Inc., and addressing related matters.
So last month we had Bill Lindley here with Clayton explaining kind of the situation, I guess, so. And I think at that point, the board voted to move forward, so at least they can get the documentation put together, which is what's in front of you now. Just to recap a little bit, so it's for a pre-purchase of 70% of our future gas, utilizing HMU's tax exempt status. So there again, basically, we're not gonna pay for that gas until we actually use it, so it's not like we're putting a bond up. We're actually putting bond money up, it's just that they're using our tax exempt status in order to pre-purchase. There's somebody gonna buy those bonds, or they'll be the ones that actually purchase the bonds that for this gas purchase. I guess that makes sense, any questions?
Yeah, this-
I move to approve resolution number 106-2026, authorizing the purchase of natural gas from PIFA Inc., approving the execution and delivery of a gas supply agreement and the other documents related to said purchasing, approving the issuance of bonds by PIFA, and addressing related matters.
Second.
Roll call.
Nick's eye.
Lukey, aye.
Michelle, I. Number 6,
Jill, did you wanna follow up with Jarvis on
Yes.
about the bonding?
So on that bonding, like I said, it does count against our bonding, which this gas that'll be purchased. I mean, even though we're not fronting the bonds, I mean, they're just using but it goes against our bonding capacity, that 10 million. And I think that's actually gonna be over that limit, is what Bill said, for what we got pre-purchased will be over the 10 million just in that year. So basically, anything, and it sounded like any big things you got coming up bonding is 27, 28?
Yeah, 27, 28.
So do you have anything this year?
No, we're not bonding anything this year.
Okay, so then we should be good. So that'll come in effect, like I said, they're thinking late April, early May is when that'll happen, to where they'll commit that bonding capacity.
Okay.
So we should be good. And then they expect us to come around about every 7 years. So we'll just have to kind of keep in touch again, 7 years down the road, there might be going through this again. We'll just have to make sure timing wise that you guys don't have a big project coming up or something that would affect the, or the bank qualifying, so.
Yeah, because we're bonding in 2027 and then another one in 2028 for the street projects.
Okay, so we should be good. It's just a little bit further out. We'll just have to kind of work that out and see where we're at with that.
Good.
All right? Thank you.
and number 6, review and accept quote for a new backhoe loader. 2 quotes were received as follows: Caterpillar 420 in the amount of $130,715.80, includes trade-in value of $17,000, and Murphy Tractor Equipment Company 320, a P-tier John Deere in the amount of $133,155, includes trade-in value of $22,000. This is a budgeted item for 2026 and 2027.
So basically, we're replacing our current New Holland, what year is that, you think?
08.
It's an 08, which is, it's pretty tired. So, our recommendation that, both machines were demonstrated with our employees. They dropped it off, let us for a few days. Guys can go out and kind of dig with it and see what they thought of each machine. And we went ahead and got the quotes, but both are very comparable, is what we tried kind of doing apples to apples. Recommendation is for the Caterpillar 420. And like we talked, as far as budget time, delivery will be after July 1. So we hit that 26-27 budget year. And I think we're getting a pretty good trade-in, I guess, for an 08 machine, I think.
So if I do the math, it looks like John Deere might be a little bit cheaper. Is that? Is that
Well, I guess if you look at
with
trade-ins.
the trade-in, yeah.
The totals there are with the trade.
Yeah, it's with the trade-in, correct.
Yeah, that's
Oh.
Yes, that already includes.
Yeah, that already
Yep,
includes
yep.
the
So the
trade-in.
trade-in's already taken off of that, yes.
I misunderstood.
But I know how you were looking at it, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right,
That's how I was looking at it too.
Mhm.
okay.
So maybe that was a little confusing, sorry about that.
Okay, so make a motion to review and accept the quote for a new backhoe loader of the Caterpillar 420 in the amount of $130,715, which includes a trade-in of $17,000
Correct.
for our existing New Holland.
Second.
Roll call.
Nick's eye.
Lukey, aye.
Michelle, aye. Number 7, review and accept quote to replace unit number 17 of 2014 Ford Escape. Quotes were received as follows: GM 2026 Chevrolet Traverse in the amount of $42,241, and GM 2026 Ford Explorer in the amount of $39,244. Both prices listed are after price concession. Budgeted item for 2026 and 2027.
Yeah, so the price concession is just basically government funding or government credit, I guess, however you want to say it, pricing. Our recommendation at this point is in for the Ford Explorer, just, the cheaper option, which I think they're both good units also. Same thing, delivery would be after July 1 to get in that budget year. The existing, in this case, we did not do a trade with the 2014 Ford Escape, but we will turn around and that'll be sold on Purple Wave auction site.
Was the trade-in value not good?
Well, it seems like you get way below book even, a lot of times when you trade, so that's kind of why we stayed away from that. I don't know what the thoughts are for the board.
I'd make a motion to accept the bid of the 2026 Ford Explorer in the amount of $39,244.
Second,
Roll call.
Dickus, aye.
Lukey, aye.
Michelle, aye. Okay, number 8, receive and file the minutes from the Insurance Committee meeting and City of Harlan Council meeting, review and approve recommendation to approve the agency's proposal to renew property casualty insurance with EMC Insurance.
I guess you could contest to it, Michelle, but I think the review of the premium coverage went well when we got together with the city. And we were gonna look back, I'm gonna maybe just off the top of your head, I mean, are we about the same from last year? I can't remember if we got everything put together here yet or not.
Yeah, so with the savings on the work comp, it ended up being 4 or 5% from memory, year
Okay.
over year. It was above, it was 10 or 11 or 12 prior to the work comp savings.
Sure.
So, so what we're looking to is we ended up getting bids this year. We looked into this, time flies, 5 to 7 years ago. There's a statewide pool for municipalities, cities, entities only, and it's owned by the members. They declined to even offer a quote 5, 6, 7 years ago. This time around, through discussions with Joe and Jenny and the city folks, they agreed to give a bid, and it was extremely competitive. To the savings, it's a range only because every carrier slightly might classify somebody differently. You know, carrier A might say Brian Gravel's in this class and carrier B says different. So IMWCA only does July to July. So we figured after we get through this 3-month window, they'll have everybody kind of slightly moved around to where they feel is appropriate based upon job duties. But it's in tune of $45,000 of savings on the work comp combined for city and HMU.
In our portions, we kind of talked maybe 15-ish.
Yeah, it's about 2/3 and 1/3, 60-40 to 65-35. HMU being that 35 lower percentage of the amount. So you say 1/3, it's 15 to 18,000 savings depending on what we look. If it's classed the way that they initially classed it, it'll even be more. So we did the savings based upon worst case scenario, but you guys know what I mean. So we do a review with department heads pretty frequently. We send stuff out about every 3 years. I'll get a list from Jenny of just, hey, just so I don't miss anybody, who do I need to make sure I hear back from? And if I don't hear from somebody, I reach out to Joe and Jenny and say, hey, I haven't heard from John or Jane Doe yet, just to make sure we're not missing a building, a backhoe, a vehicle, whatever it is. So we do review those lists both annually and then extremely detailed every 3 or 4 years, just to make sure there's something big that we don't miss. So, and those folks go to those meetings, as you know.
The city's already approved this. So I make a motion to receive and file the minutes of the insurance committee meeting with the city of Harlan and approve the recommendations for the agency's proposal.
Second.
Roll call.
Dickus, aye.
Lukey, aye.
Michelle, aye. Number 9, approve boiler insurance renewal in the amount of $5,000.
So I talked a little bit with Brent on this. We do this every year, but the boiler kind of threw me off a little bit, but we discussed that this policy actually covers our 2 large cat generators that we got down at the old facility and equipment in our substations. So it's an annual thing. Jenny did some research, I guess, this afternoon. I think in 23 we paid $5,000, and then 24 and 25 it was like 74, almost 7,500. But now we're back down to that 5,000 again.
So cities, municipalities are in a program typically written between 2 different competing carriers. The managing general agent for the whole program for the state of Iowa had worked with a company called Cincinnati for 30 years to write the boiler equipment breakdown coverage. That boiler term just stems back to 80, 90 years ago when boilers were everywhere and they would break down. But yes, so Cincinnati's been the carrier, they notified the entire program in the state of Iowa that they were canceling everybody. At that point, we were in the midst of a 3-year policy. So they went out and said, hey, for the whole statewide program, they went out to bid, got other carrier options, and CNA actually came in. Because again, they don't share the premium, actually came in slightly lower anyway. So that's why we have partial of a premium decrease. They kind of committed essentially initially up front that if the total group's claims loss ratio is good, generally 35 to 40% or below, they won't take a premium increase next year. So some stability, some positives, yeah, there's change, but in a fortunate way, the change was good this year, so that's why the rate came down, is it's a change of carrier in this case. But yeah, they're both high quality carriers, so that's why the difference. But it's technicalities, is it's some equipment breakdown coverage, like Joe said, for the generators and some of the substations, because the standard EMC property policy excludes equipment breakdown for power generating locations. So that's why we go out and buy this separate policy for that.
I'll make a motion to approve the boiler insurance renewal in the amount of $5,000.
Second,
Roll call.
Ickus, aye.
Lukey, aye.
Michelle, aye. Review and approve recommendations, number 10. Review and approve recommendations to approve the agency's proposal for the workers' comp insurance with the change in the provider to Iowa Municipalities Workers' Compensation Association policy effective April 1st.
So Brent did already
Yeah.
touch on that with the other one, like he said, you know, it'll take place April 1st and then renew July 1.
They do every single policy July to July. It's just how they do every single one. So they're doing a short term with us for 3 months. Pros and cons every carrier. One little nice thing is they actually bill separately. In the past, we would have to split invoices, et cetera, that they'll split invoices. So that's kind of minor, but little nuances to each.
Sure.
One really big thing that they push hard on, they said it at our in-person meeting and on the phone, and they reiterated it to me. They feel that they've done a lot of research the last 15-ish years, plus years, that they feel seatbelts aren't just important, aren't just critical, like they'll bring the hammer sort of thing, to not even exaggerate. When Jarvis and I even kind of asked them in person, how do you monitor, what do we do, what do our entities need to do? And they're like, we're out doing safety trainings and on-site visits. We'll just park in the parking lot and watch people if they pull into City Hall and to the stuff, and if they aren't wearing seatbelts, we'll come to you guys and say, hey, we're noticing there's a trend of enough people, so you need to address it and take care of it. We trust that you'll do that. Like then when we come back, we check again, and if it's not getting better, about the 3rd or 4th time, we'll be like, hey, clearly you don't care. Your next renewal has a 50% rate increase until this is taken care of. So we don't want to have that conversation. We want to be very proactive.
Right.
Avoid that. Just, I know it can be slightly inconvenient at times if you're going job site to job site, but when it's a 2 or 3 second deal, put it on. We need to wear them anyway, but especially when we're looking at a $60,000 to $70,000 punishment for not doing it, we need to be proactive and do it and avoid that conversation. So
Yeah, and I think
just, you know, if that comes up, that's what it's stemming from, is they've said, we absolutely feel like we have enough data to prove this is important enough that we take it extremely serious, so.
Well, yeah, and then just to follow up on that too, I think, you know, I think we were probably getting a little lax, HMU was, but at our all-employee meeting Tuesday, I had mentioned that, you know, that this was coming up and we've got to start wearing them. And, you know, and I think we got a bunch of good employees because I think they accepted it and, you know, didn't have any issues. It's just like they knew we got to do it. And we're trying to save, we're trying to save money, you know, on the premium, and I think they are all in with it and didn't really have any major issues, maybe a couple questions, but I think already things are, you know, things are starting to look up as far as the employees, so just since that talk Tuesday. So.
And to add to Brandon and the city also too, that implemented the new policy also too. For us, it's a new policy, we didn't have that anywhere. So it's been approved, implemented, all the employees signed the new policy, so we're trying to implement that.
Yeah, so basically Tuesday was kind of a reminder that when we had all the employees together, is that, you know, we have this, everybody signed it, policy that was initiated in 2013 for seatbelts specifically, so. So there's documentation for it, but like I said, I think you know, great employees, I think they were very receptive of it, and they kind of knew why we were doing it and why we want to require it. and enforce it, so.
Do we have a motion to approve the work comp change?
I'll make a motion to approve the agency's proposal for the workers' comp insurance with a change in provider to Iowa Municipal Utilities Workers' Compensation Association. Policy effective April 1st.
Second.
Roll call.
Hickus, aye.
Lukey, aye.
Michelle, aye. And number 11, approve SPP attachment credit policy of the open access transmission tariff and authorize Joe Ruschenberg to sign. Do you want me to say the ABC?
Yeah, I mean, or I could talk about it
Okay.
too.
Just two forms.
Yeah, two forms. Appendix A is the credit application form. Appendix E is the annual minimum market participant criteria or risk management certification form. Just part of working with SPP, both forms require signatures annually, so.
And
Any questions, Al? No.
I don't think so.
Make a motion to approve the SPP attachment regarding the credit policy and the annual minimal market participation criteria. And authorize Joe to sign those two documents.
Second.
roll call.
Hickus, aye.
Lukey, aye.
Michelle, aye. Number 12, approve KLAC's annual support renewal in the amount of $10,495 before sales tax.
So this is a CALIC support renewal that was approved at the March meeting in 2024, right? Yes, 2024, for $31,485. So this covers 3 years ending 3/29 of 27. So basically this covers annual 24/7 support and software updates, 1/3 paid per year. So this would be our third payment of that 3-year contract.
And Calyx support is for,
Dot, you wanna kick in on that? That's basic
All of our fiber equipment.
fiber equipment.
okay,
They are the manufacturer of the equipment in the back room and in every house.
okay, thank you.
I'll make a motion to approve CALIC's annual support renewal in the amount of $10,495 before sales tax.
I'll second.
Second,
Roll call.
Hickus, aye.
Lukey, aye.
Michelle, aye. Approve IAMU annual membership dues in the amount of $18,572.
Membership dues provide HMU with access to compliance and training at a reduced cost. The cost in 2025 was $15,571, so it's gone up about 3,000, but I guess we get a lot of there's a lot of benefit out of it for us as a community and for the employees.
So how do they assess what our membership is versus Denison versus Atlantic versus Ames?
So by the meter?
I put the letter in the packet.
Yes.
I did not bring it with me.
I believe it is by meters,
I think
isn't
so.
it? Yes,
I didn't print it.
yes,
By meter?
yeah.
Because that's a big increase, it's 3,000.
Oh, I know,
I mean,
I know.
percentage wise, it's 20%.
But I know I think
It's
they're
almost
going,
20%.
I think, there's probably there's probably additional employees that they've come on to, I don't know, on their end.
Yeah, it explains it in that letter,
Yeah.
exactly how they come up with it, I thought.
I mean, I could
That's fine.
you okay?
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that there was a process. that-
Yeah, there is, I mean, there's a form,
And it breaks it
basically a
down by
form.
department too.
Yeah,
I was waiting to make sure there's a process that we get charged versus,
correct, not just a willy-nilly
Yeah,
number. Correct, yeah, it's based on, I'm thinking it's based on meters,
okay.
and I'd have to verify that for sure for you, but.
Make a motion to approve the IAMU annual membership dues of $18,572.
Second.
Roll call.
Hickus, aye.
Lukey, aye.
Michelle, aye. Number 14, approve P&E engineering invoice for the underground conversion project in the amount of $914.37.
So on this, as we know, the overhead underground project's been done for some time, but, so this was a lingering invoice that PD had out there. I don't know if it got lost in the emails or if Al didn't send it to us.
No, he sent it.
He sent it. It was just one of those that got missed, so it's kind of his final payment for the engineering work he had done for that project on the overhead to underground conversion.
So this is the last one,
Yes,
Culver?
Yes.
All right, just checking.
It was in my email and I'm like, oh, no.
No, I'm not trying to find fault, I was just making
I guess we
sure.
say-
It was mine, I
interest.
take full responsibility.
No, that's not what I was after.
Yeah, it is the last one.
Okay, so I make a motion to approve the P&E invoice of $914.37.
Second.
Roll call.
Dickus, aye.
Lukey, aye.
Michelle, aye. Number 15, approve P&E engineering invoice for the new campsites at the Shelby County Fairgrounds in the amount of $1,938.70.
now this is a current one. Payment for engineering work that he, for designing that new electrical down there, laying it out for us. So I don't know, any questions on that one?
They're gonna have it done in time?
Oh, I think so.
Start next week.
Yeah, we're raring to go with weather.
Construction starting and the engineering's done?
Engineering's done, yep.
It's all flagged out.
Okay.
Well, the first section is flagged out. We're hoping 2 weeks for our stuff.
So's Gary. We're hoping.
Sooner than later, right? So,
I'll make a motion to approve P&E engineering invoice for the new campsites at the Shelby County Fairgrounds in the amount of $1,938.70.
Second.
Roll call.
Dickus, aye.
Lukey, aye.
Michelle, aye. Number 16, approve recommendation by P&E Engineering for payment number 1 for the metering system replacement project in the amount of $142,025.
So this is the first payment to Harold Case Schultz Company for installation of meters in the substations for our electric SCADA project, which that's been run through quite a while too, but now this one wasn't lost. It was just, we were kind of hanging on to that one to make sure everything was gonna work before they actually, we paid anything towards them, because we did have issues with that. And I think we're still, a few things bugs to get worked out, but it was one of those where, yeah, we weren't gonna pay them any money until we knew the thing was gonna work, or it got to a point where we were more satisfied with it. So this is the first payment going to them for the work that they did. There will be a second and final payment of $7,475 for the retainage. That would be at next month's meeting. And that will cover everything owed to them.
and we have not paid for any software yet. Might be a while.
Until we know it's working well.
Sure it works, huh?
Mhm.
Move to approve the P&E engineering payment number 1 for the metering system replacement of $142,025.
Second.
Roll call.
Dickus, aye.
Lukey, aye.
Michelle, aye. Number 17, approve payment to Northern Municipal Distributors Group in the amount of $4,483.59 for legal and regulatory fund assessment.
So this HMU's payment is based on the throughput of gas that we use in a year. It's how they base what each, municipality or city pays. Money is used to cover costs of legal representation for the current Northern Natural Gas rate case. So there's always kind of a fund there, they ask for money, kind of build that fund back up, and then as we get invoices from the attorneys out in DC that are kind of fighting on our side for the rate case with Northern, once it gets down to a certain point, then they kind of ask for another assessment based on our throughput. So like this time, I think they were looking at trying to pick up about 80,000. So then they kind of back that into your throughput and basically find out then what each municipality or entity owes.
So this group is, maybe this is not the right term, but a watchdog legal group on Northern's rates that they charge municipalities? Is that
They fight to get it lowered, that rate lowered,
versus Northern?
yes.
Yes, yep.
Okay, got it.
Yep.
That's kind of what I thought, okay.
So I'm actually a representative on this along with RC and Woodbine is on the board. Kurt Neff from Cedar Falls is on the board. Jim from Sanborn is on the board. And Murray from Sioux Center is on the board also.
I make a motion to approve payments to the Northern Municipal Distribution Group in the amount of $4,483.59 for the legal and regulatory fund.
I'll second. Roll call.
Hickus, aye.
Lukey, aye.
Michelle, aye. Number 18, information only items, a McClure invoice in the amount of $3,731.38.
Engineering cost would be for February, right? March? Yeah, so it'd been last month's for the raw water system improvements project. Those we should be winding down on also here, so as that project is
Correct.
getting down there. Right now, it's just kind of final, they're working on final quantities, final, making sure everything's finalized on the project is a lot of their time now.
Darn engineers.
Yeah. And then under my report, I've got a few items. Update on the raw water system improvements projects. I guess we're just verifying that all punch list items are complete. They've kind of been in and out of here the last couple of weeks trying to get those finished up. I know we're gonna have to probably have one more sweep and make sure everything's done, correct, Demo? I think we have a few little things. But then we do hope to have we were hoping to have final completion by this meeting, but it's gonna turn out now, obviously, that we should have final completion of the project by the April meeting along with that final payment. Next item, Eric Rose and Todd Hively completed their welding certifications for the year, just did that last week. Was it, yeah, last week, they were up in Emmitsburg to a class, so.
Yep.
Got recertified for the year. HMU has most materials and equipment for the electrical services to the new camping spots that we had touched on. To be added there at the fairgrounds. Installation will start as soon as the weather allows, like Coburn said, I don't know. We'll have to see what the weather does. I know they're talking for some rain, but I think we got enough stuff to get going now. We're waiting maybe on a few items, but we got the majority of it, I believe, right now, sitting out in our parking lot, so. Next item, approximately 90 customers left to convert to IPTV. End date for the traditional cable is May 31st. Last is March anniversaries.
Oh, wait,
Oh, yes.
May 31st, I thought it was May 1st.
Well, we want to be done by June, or we want to be
I
done.
thought shut off is May 1st.
We've been rolling shut-offs, getting people to call in. We're having a problem getting hold of people to get an install date. And we've done door hangers, we've contacted them, called them, left them messages, and we're doing about 15 a week right now. And with 5 weeks left, it's only gonna leave us with 35. If we cut off 35 people and 35 people call us on the last day, there's no way we can install them in a day, or 2 or 3. I mean, it's,
So I want this written that May 31st is the last day because we
Yes,
changed.
'cause
In
we're
January, we
closing.
did the same thing in January. We said May 1st is the absolute last day. That was the January meeting between the 4 of us, 5 of us. So now we're moving it back a month.
we're not gonna have time to, we gotta get hold of these people. If we just disconnect them, I don't wanna lose them altogether as a customer. I would rather get them cut over in a good amount of time.
But that's not what we said in January meeting. January was the opposite,
What's that?
that we were gonna cut them off.
I mean, we can cut them off, Michelle, but then we're probably gonna lose half of them that are left yet.
I'm getting complaints from people that they would never even have done the conversion until the last day.
Well,
Well, that's the issue-
problem
that's
with
the
the
issue
people
we're
that are
having.
doing it right now.
Right, so now you've got the people that have already moved over to
Cause you're talking
NICP.
about the ones that were told by December 30th.
Yes, they were done by December 30th, and NICP, they changed because everybody said December 30th. And then now we're moving it out another month from our January meeting when we had the meeting and we all sat down and said, this is what we're gonna do. If we had to do overtime, we were gonna do overtime. This is what we have to do. Was May 1st. So you might wanna schedule another meeting to have this hashed out in another meeting.
Okay.
Yeah, Kim?
Jenny, can you schedule another meeting?
Yeah, sure. We'll talk about it afterwards.
Okay.
Anniversaries is the last thing I have. Joy Correa, 3 years. Kurt Zimmerman, 3 years. Dalton Fredericks, 4 years. Todd Hively, 4 years. Shannon Miller, 4 years. Dylan Zorns, 3 years, and Jamie Petchy, 4 years.
Yeah, that's good.
So it was a busy month of hiring her, I guess, so. That's all I have. Guess if there's any questions for me? All right.
Okay, any questions? Okay, we can adjourn.